Hey guys, MCU Collector here with the final video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Black Panther Wave 2 M'Baku Build-A-Figure. So here is the Build-A-Figure video itself. So here I'm actually going to be piecing together M'Baku and then ranking my favorites in the wave. As you can see, all 6 figures here, with the 7th being the Build-A-Figure. I will rank them all together, but really I'm excited to get M'Baku. This is actually a figure that I wanted when we got Wave 1, where we didn't really get all movie figures, and you know, we got Nakia Okoye was a Build-A-Figure, we got the Killmonger in the suit, and then we had the Black Panther figure, and we wanted, you know, all these different characters from the movie. You know, I think most of it's safe to say most of us enjoyed that movie. I know there are some that did not. I loved the movie, so I'm glad that we got so many additional characters for the movie. And then on top of that, M'Baku was also in Avengers Infinity War, so I'm going to eventually need a second M'Baku Build-A-Figure for my Avengers Infinity War display, because I have a figure for every character that was in there, if the suit, the costume that they wear actually really lines up. So my shelf for Infinity War is jam-packed, but I can fit another M'Baku, I can fit a Dora Milaje, I can fit a Vibranium Energy Black Panther, I can fit... Well, that's it from this wave. So I can fit as many as I possibly can. I want to squeeze them in. So I will be getting a second one of these guys. But for now, I'll stick with the one. Maybe if the wave goes clearance, I may end up picking another one up, or just kind of piece it here and there until I get a second one. Now, I have not heard a lot of support for this wave. And so far, it's only been showing up at GameStop. So I don't even know if this wave is going to really hit retail or not. We'll see when the new toy resets and everything happens. Hasbro had told us this would get a December release. Hasbro Pulse posted, hey, late 2018. Well, turns out Dora Milaje showed up in 2018. The rest of them showed up in 2019. So we'll see what's going to happen with this wave. I hope it gets the full retail support, so movie figures will continue going on. But we shall see what's going to happen. Movie figures will always keep going on, but a full movie wave, maybe they won't do that again, depending on how this wave performs. So we shall see. But let's get right to it and build this guy together. So here we'll always start off with the torso piece. Then it's always easy to put the head on. Ball joint, just you gotta force it on there, and it doesn't really pop or click on there. You just kind of have to push it down, and it's on there. Next, we go with the legs. Here is the left leg, and it's hard because the skirt piece is pretty big, so you can see how deep it goes. So you really have to work the leg in there through the skirt piece, and the legs, you know, with it being a normal sized figure, it's not gigantic, so you want to kind of be careful on piecing this leg, you know, with these knee joints, and it doesn't really click into place. You just kind of have to force it and know that it's in there. Okay, now we got the legs together. And he's looking like a decent size. You know, Winston Duke, the actor, he's not a tiny guy by any means. Here, we got the left arm. Let's see. Let's hinge that down. Okay, so that back piece comes off. So this the arm doesn't snap into place either. You just kind of have to force it in there. Let's get the right arm in there. Again, it doesn't snap into place. You just kind of have to force it in there. Let's put this back piece on. Fits on there like so. Let's get his staff in his hand. And voila! There is the M'Baku Build-A-Figure. Awesome looking figure. It's kind of awkward though, because the skirt piece is so large. But there he is. Really, really good looking figure. I really like the way it looks. Awesome looking figure. Okay, let's go over the articulation real quick, and then we'll take a closer look at the figure and see all the details on this guy. So his head, M'Baku looks all the way down. He can look all the way up, so fantastic neck articulation there. Shoulders go up, so you can see that this arm piece on the shoulder actually kind of, there's a little bit of flexibility into it, so you can actually get that arm up, and you can see how it kind of bows into it. And you get a full rotation there. There is actually an upper bicep swivel in there, so this does not get in the way of that. You do get a double jointed elbow. Sorry guys, I'm tired coming back from vacation. So you get a double jointed elbow, which works great. You get wrist swivel, and you do get a hinge as well. There is a diaphragm joint, no ab crunch, so you could pivot that side much to that side. Not a whole lot down. It gets up, but not a whole lot down. There's not a whole lot in there. Now, there is no waist swivel, so it's just that diaphragm joint that's going to allow that motion going around. The skirt piece is not removable either. Now, you might be able to force it down if you wanted, if you get the legs off. That's not something that I'm going to do. But of course, because it's not removable or anything, even though it's of a nice rubber material, there's not really a whole lot of flexibility into it. So his legs aren't really going to go out a whole lot. That's it, really. And I don't know if it's just mine, but this guy feels a little gummy in those knee joints, so I might want to be careful there. Of course, there is an upper thigh cut because that is where the leg pieces together. You get a double jointed knee, which I had mentioned in the very first video, is that the hinge color of the knee is visible, and I don't like the way that looks. But I guess it's not so much of a problem because the skirt piece really hides that, so maybe not so much of an issue. Now, I'm trying to see, there is no boot swivel to this guy. The foot hinges all the way down though, and hinges up very tiny amount, and then there is ankle pivot. So that is the articulation, fair articulation on this guy. Now let's put this back piece back on. Now let's take a closer look at the M'Baku Build-A-Figure. Okay, here's a close-up look at the M'Baku Build-A-Figure, and this thing looks great. I definitely see the Winston Duke, the actor that portrays M'Baku, in the head sculpt. I don't think it's Hasbro's best, but it doesn't look bad at all, and I think it came out pretty good. Definitely see it in there. Now, one thing that's a little bit odd, usually with shorter hair, the hair is part of the sculpt of the head, but it looks like this hair is actually a separate piece that's glued onto the head. Not that it makes so much of a difference, but just thought I'd let you guys know about that. Now, looking at the details of the figure, I like the way the fur came out. There's a couple of different colors in there. You got white, and then there's a little bit of a creamish color, gray, that's in there as well to really get that fur to pop and stand out and really look realistic. Now, I like that they kind of went with the white, grayish color to really show his comic book. The comic book side, which was the man-ape, and he was all white. So I really like the way that kind of looks on the figure. Now, the details look pretty good. There's a little bit of texturing in this body armor piece here, which is nice. The paint looks pretty good. It looks like, the way it's applied, like it's kind of smeared, like it's clean, like kind of just how the armor would be, not a clean paint job. So that actually looks really good in figure form, how they came out looking. It's got some gray for his underclothing in there. Then the torso armor piece looks like it has like a textured look, and almost like a leather, almost looks like a football. Kind of how that textured look, and actually very similar color as well. On the back, there's not a whole lot. It's pretty smooth and everything, but you can see that this back fur piece kind of ports right on into the back of the figure there. So I'll put that there. Looks pretty good. Shoulder pieces. Again, I like the way that the paint looks on there because it's not a clean look to it, which gives it a more realistic look. I really like the way that is. Now these wrist guards, forearm guards, gauntlets, whatever you want to call them. The fur is done nicely. It's all sculpted in brown, and then they put in a little bit of gray paint to show the fur, and then we get that brown and like tan, yellow, orange color into the armor, and that looks good. Nice sculpted lines in there. Same on the other side. Now the staff, again, I voiced my opinion. I was very disappointed that they just went with a completely smooth brown plastic. No texture to it, no details, nothing to this at all. It is nice that we get it for M'Baku, but there's absolutely nothing to it. Now the skirt piece, there's limited paint to it. A little bit more paint would really get kind of the texturing and everything to really stand out a little bit more. But it looks like kind of it's all like ropes or string kind of coming down. The sculpt of it itself is really good. And then under that skirt is another skirt piece that's just kind of done in a lighter brown. And a little bit of white paint in there as well to kind of show some weathering to it. Just to add a little bit of added detail. Looks like it's kind of two separate pieces as well, but again, they're not really made to come off the figure. And then down to his knee pads, just brown color with some line work in the sculpt. But the shin guards look very good. A lot of good texturing in there, and the paint apps, again, not the cleanest look, but it really gives it that battled look to it. The brown fur with the white gray paint over it looks really good. Nice texturing, gives it a nice textured look. Yeah, and he has peg holes down at the bottom. So great looking figure, really like it. You guys let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the figure down in the comments below. Now let's take a look at all the figures again from the wave, and let's rank them together. Okay, so we have all 7 figures from the wave. So normally in a ranking, I don't include the Build-A-Figure because in most cases, Build-A-Figure is always going to be the far superior figure. So I will rank the other 6 on how I kind of see them and what my favorites are. So at number 6 is actually going to be the Civil War Black Panther figure. I love that T'Challa head, but it's not enough to really push it ahead in the ranking because it's essentially the same exact figure that we got. So that's number 6. Number 5, I'm going with the Dora Milaje figure because, again, it's a reissue. The additional 3 head sculpts are awesome, and the new paint on that is great. But again, still a reissue, and I don't like the silver that they use on the shoulder and then the forearms. I did not like that at all. So that was number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with the T'Chaka figure since the torso, the hip joint, and the arms are basically the same exact thing as that figure that we just got, which was already a reissue. He falls down. Now, the overall figure is great, but doesn't do enough to really push him up. Next is going to be the Vibranium Energy. That's my number 3 figure because, again, it's just a reissue. It's a repaint. The purple is excellent. It's awesome. I really like the way it comes out looking. It's very bright. Really gives it that look that you see in the movie when it powers up. So I really like that one too. Ulysses Claw is my number 2 because we get a new character. And then the arm cannon, I really do like the way that came out. Number 1, of course, is the Eric Killmonger figure in his tactical military suit. Because what an awesome figure this is. And I would not be surprised if this figure makes a top 10 list at the very end of the year. So he is my number 1 figure in the wave. If I included the Build-A-Figure and M'Baku, he would actually probably be my number 2, and then the others would push down because nothing's going to get past this Killmonger figure. What an awesome figure. So there's my ranking. There is the entire Black Panther Wave 2 and M'Baku Build-A-Figure. Let me know how you guys would rank this wave down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.